Hey guys! Okay, next tutorial. This one was filmed quite a while ago, as evident by my pink hair. But we are creating a club card soldier from the game Alice Madness Returns. To start off, I just took a very flesh-toned lip pencil and started lining out where I wanted all of the curves and contours to be, looking at the reference picture that I had printed out to try and get the right dimensions on everything. For the face, I quickly filled in with a white pencil and boom, all filled in. Nice and easy. From there, I took a gray eyeshadow and started better defining all of the little curves around the face, such as the teeth. I made these by just making little curves with the brush and making the lines downwards. I wanted there to be a ton of teeth on this one since the reference picture seems to kind of have that, so I just made them get smaller and smaller as they moved out. And then I also shaded in all of the different contours around the center of the skull there. For the lower jaw, I did the same of creating the lower teeth with the little lines, and then I also made markings for where they would kind of sit in the skull and did a little bit of detailing along the sides as well. With my black water-acted face paint and a small detail brush, I started better defining the teeth by going along the bottom to really even out the edges, especially if they got a little bit messy as you worked. And then I just pull the brush up lightly between them to create the spaces between the teeth. I then did the same to define the little tops of them all the way along and repeated the same on the bottom. The bottom teeth I gave a little bit more of a square shape, and then I also tried to include a little bit of a hint towards, I guess, what the molars would be on the skull just near the back by doing a little bit of a curve upwards and defining them. In a skull, there's not exactly gum lines or anything, but I did like just kind of giving a little bit of extra detail to maybe where the teeth would be embedded in the skull itself. So I just kind of added those in and then did a little bit more detailing before lining around the entire mouth and filling it in. From there, I moved on to working on the sides of the skulls. You can always take this time to kind of redefine and create shapes that you prefer over what you originally sketched out. And then I also used it to outline around the eye area. It's kind of a unique shape for the skull since it is the club card soldier, so you can kind of just go with what works best around your eyes. I like going over my brows so I don't actually have to cover them. And then I also used that same face paint to fill in my entire mouth and lip area, trying to really hide the seam line of where my actual lips sit. A good trick for that, which I do a little bit later, is to also set it all with a matte black shadow so it doesn't reflect as much and you can't see the lip shape. I filled in the entire club shape as well with the same face paint, making sure to go around my eyes, along the nose, and any areas that needed a little bit of extra detailing, I just used a finer brush. And then for where I did go over the eyes, I did make sure to set with a black shadow so it would not move as much on me throughout the night, as well as getting rid of the shine that kind of gives away the actual contours of your face. After a little bit more line detailing, I then moved on to using a black eyeshadow and a smaller brush and started creating the shading along the skull. As you can see, I did it here underneath the teeth a little bit, on top of them, and in the areas that would be a little bit more recessed in the skull itself. Shading along the sides of the teeth is always a good idea to create a little bit more of the illusion that the teeth are actually curved, as the back teeth would have a little bit more shadow on them than the front where they catch all of the light. The front area of the skull on these is meant to kind of just look really flat since there is no actual nose contour that leads into the club shape. So to try and hide this, I wanted to make the lines go just over my nose so that it helped visually flatten the face a little bit. And then I also just redefined some of those lines before going back with the black shadow and again shading down through all the areas that I wanted to have a overlay or a curve to them. Any area that you want to stand out more, you want to apply more dark shadow and just have it fade off into a light gray. In the way you would normally add a little bit of shadowing above the brow contours on a skull or a regular demon makeup, You almost want to do that here just with the club shape. So it's a little bit different, but it's the same idea of shading around it to help the brighter areas pop forward and have a little bit of shading to create some depth along the top of the skull. I, of course, had to add a little bit more shading to the lines along the top of the jaw there, and then also did a little bit of shading for each tooth just to better make them look recessed. I filled in my waterline with a black gel liner and then filled in everywhere else with the black face paint before putting on a hood that was terribly made and I sewed in like 2 minutes. You could, of course, also throw in a pair of contacts, a wig, whatever you want to make this look work for you, but that is it for my club card look, filmed forever ago. I hope you guys enjoyed, hope it gives you a little bit of tips of ways to incorporate it into your own makeup, and until tomorrow, I will see you guys then. Thank you so much for watching.